Welcome everyone to the GoTezu's chat room co-sponsored by Advertalks. Today we have with us Advocate Manisha Singh. Ma'am is an expert into arbitration and the most importantly, she is a qualified lawyer and has been representing certain premier clients as such. So today, welcome Manisha ma'am on a very auspicious day of a Women's Day. So happy Women's Day, first of all.
Thank you so much, Vatsaly. First, I would refrain myself from calling expert. I'm not an expert on anything. I'm just a lawyer who's just trying to get her practice started.
That's great, ma'am. That's so humble of you. And eventually, ma'am, this GoTezu chat room का basic motivation हमेशा से यही रहता है कि getting along with the people who are doing something respectively good in their field, either it is law, either in corporates, either in HR or any particular fields as such. So, ma'am, today because आपकी profile में you are into arbitration and arbitration as a field एक थोड़ा सा young lawyers के लिए, young women lawyers के लिए especially new aspects है, right? So how you come up with this idea as such arbitration as a field आपके लिए आगे होगा? So I want to know your thought process on that.
Thought process on women in arbitration, or thought process of why I am in arbitration.
My first question is that why are you into arbitration?
Okay. So, so that reason I would give to Mr. Gaurav Banerjee. Mr. Gaurav Banerjee is the reason, I know arbitration, like the A of arbitration, because literally he taught me everything. And when I was in law school, I wanted to do something, like I was enamored by the process of arbitration. So I was part of this journal called India, IJAL. It's an Indian Journal Arbitration Law. So I was the senior editor there.
Okay.
And it was started by six people from my batch and my preceding batch. So we six of us with Professor Hari Sankar, we started this whole journal on arbitration law. That was the first time I got exposed to arbitration. Then I had classes on arbitration, and the brilliant part about this whole thing of this whole law as a profession is that you sometimes meet like amazing people who practice law, right?
Yeah.
So what happened was, in one such conference, I traveled from Jodhpur to Delhi, and I met Mr. Nariman.
Oh, wow.
And it was an arbitration conference. That was the first time I met him. And so that again, was an added advantage of meeting him. And I heard him, that time that whole Balco case was decided.
Okay.
So it was that whole thing, seat and all sorts of things were going on. So I was like, what is seat? So I did my whole host of research and all. And I would just circle back that once I graduated and once I joined Mr. Banerjee's chamber, Mr. Banerjee is someone who knows everything in arbitration. He is one of the best arbitration lawyers, not just in the country, but I would say world over.
Okay.
So he and he is an amazing senior to work with. So he literally walked me through the process of arbitration. And so again, I would circle back and say that whatever I know is because of him, and he, Mr. Nariman, and there are certain other people are the reason that I am in this field. And also, I would just say that the Balco case was one of the reason when I started researching on arbitration. So maybe that's one of the reason.
Okay.
So that happened.
So
also,
that can be said as a turning point for you.
Yeah, the stepping stone, yes. And you remember, this whole white industry saga which was going on in India, lost its BIT. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, what is this BIT thing? Because
Okay.
before that, we had never heard of what is bilateral investment treaty. I for sure had not heard about that. So I then I started doing my own research on that. So that's when I literally tripped into BITs. That's what
Okay.
I would say.
Okay.
So BIT. So it was same, white industries and Balco. would be two cases which made me realize that okay, this is something which I could explore. But having said that, I would also like I just don't practice arbitration. I do practice other laws as well.
Yeah.
Mr. Banerjee's chamber is a whole host, like it's a very like all
diversified field of law.
Yeah, it's very diverse. Yeah, it's very diverse, and there's lot of areas where he practices in, like, and he's like, I should not go on and on about him, but yeah, there's a lot of areas which he
great. So ma'am, basically after having a conversation, we got to know how you entered into this field, but eventually there have been certain challenges as such. So challenges हुए होंगे because आते ही I don't find it कि आपको भी in terms of individual practicing, individual clientage मिलने लगी. तो what were your common advocate, how people find it difficult to do it?
See, the profession is very tough. I will have to tell you, the profession is extremely tough. Litigation, see, it is tough for women in general. So I should not be saying that, like other, like, in other areas, women have had it easy. It's tough being women right now because, I feel that if men have to, like, men can go and get it, but women, still have to prove themselves that yes, they can be go-getters, and like women have reached to moon and like, to the space. I'm so sorry, not moon, but to the space. Like everywhere they have reached, the sky is the limit. But still, like, still there are at certain places, where someone would say like, I would prefer a guy to have to do this. So so those are the things. When you hear those things, it makes you a little bit like, okay, what's happening? Like, am I stepping back or something's happening like that? So yes, women have challenges everywhere. In the legal profession, it's extremely challenging because it's a challenging job. Like, it's there's no vacation. Like, the court vacations are also not a vacation. There also you have to do a lot of things. And working 7 days a week, almost working 12 to 14 hours a day, sometimes it gets quite taxing, right? And if you have a family, like I think the reason like some of my colleagues do have have taken a step back from litigation is because they have a family and they want to enjoy their family life because they can't give enough time to family and all sorts of things. So I don't say that women have not made it. There are women who have made it, but it is difficult. It is damn difficult to it is extremely difficult to break through. I won't say that men have it easier as well. Men also have their own difficulties, but it is a difficult profession.
So making it a much more Women's Day special, what are your recommendation to the young budding women lawyers who are coming up in this field?
If you want to, yes, in litigation and in litigation field, if you want to do, go and get it. That's all I would suggest.
Wow, so that's a good motivating factor. Go and get it. Not much a thought process. Go and get it.
Yeah. Do what you want to do. Do what makes you happy. And see, there are sacrifices which you will have to make, but I think those sacrifices are worth it because at the end of the day, you want what you want, right?
Yeah. Coming around in this aspect also and taking up this focus area of the arbitration, ma'am. Abhi tak ka you're a young budding advocate. You are building up your career also. So, abhi tak ka which particular case, not taking the personal information, has been a satisfactory thing for you in this specific field as such?
For a lawyer, all cases are satisfactory.
Yeah, that is. But eventually, for the viewers as such, the professionals or the young people are
the cases which you win, the cases which you win, like, but win or loss, it's the same thing. Like, I would suggest all the cases are satisfactory and all cases are important. That's what you should do. Like, I feel that, if you have a case, and even if you're not sometimes you do things like, if somebody needs your help and like, and you want like, and you're not getting paid for it, but don't consider that as like, nothing. Work on every matter equally. And it is, and I would suggest work in itself should be satisfactory.
Yeah.
And you doing it should be satisfactory. If you have satisfactorily done it, I think that makes that amazing feeling you have once it's done, and when you've helped someone, I think that is what
I got it, ma'am. But eventually for a layman, एक आप scenario बता सकते हो कि how our arbitration usually are?
So see, arbitration starts with a dispute. Okay, so there'll be a notice of dispute, and then there'll be like notice invoking arbitration would happen. If both sides have agreed to arbitrators, or if it's a three-party thing, then both sides would appoint their arbitrators, and the arbitrators then would appoint a presiding arbitrator. But sometimes there's, if it's a sole arbitrator clause, if there's a dispute or something, so then a section 11 would be filed. Okay, I would go back a little bit, and sometimes a party might file a section 9 application before the arbitration process is started, because interim measures are required, and certain party needs protection, so then you file a section 9 application. Now coming back to what I was discussing, after section 11, then the court would appoint an arbitrator. The High Court or the Supreme Court would appoint an arbitrator, and thereafter the arbitration, the first procedural hearing would happen. Once the first procedural hearing has happened, in the first procedural hearing, there'll be the procedural calendar which is set. Okay, when would be the statement of claim which would be filed, then there will be a statement of defense, then rejoinder. If there's a counterclaim, then along with the statement of defense there will be a counterclaim, then reply to the counterclaim, and things like that. Then you will have to give admission denial, then there'll be things like
got it. So it's an
witness statements. Yeah,
in the coming weeks we will be having a particular live pro session also from you on this particular topic as such, so the audience will be much more, तब फिर हम sections और उनके बारे में बात करेंगे. अभी तो it's a much more interaction between you and about this field as such. So I'm coming about this, we will be concluding this session on how you'll end up becoming a lawyer as such, because there might be some story, because still this field is much more neglected as such, and there has to be a generational baggage.
There is no generational baggage, I would say. My dad always wanted me to have my say. And I would not say so my dad always felt that I should be a lawyer, because I used to be I used to always advocate and always talk and have an opinion on everything. So my dad said you might as well be a lawyer when I was in 9th grade. But my mother was totally against it, and she was like, no, you have to be a doctor. And so I gave my medicals. I didn't get into medical. I got into CLAT and I got into Jodhpur. And my dad, as a side option, had kept the CLAT. He was like, you should take the test. You would enjoy it. And I was like, yeah, why not? And so there were certain things, certain cases which I studied, and I really enjoyed it. And so basically my dad, I didn't get into medical, and my dad was like, this is something which would be best for you, and I thought it would be something which would be best for me. So me and my dad totally colluded together against my mother and went to National University Jodhpur. That has happened.
Okay. So ma'am, we will be concluding the session, and the last final comments from you. 3 tips, 3 laws which every woman should know.
You should know your rights, what rights you have. See, the thing is, me being sitting in the city, I and I'm exposed to a lot of people, but there are people who are there in the villages and towns, so they do not know their rights and what all rights they have. So it's important to know their what rights they enjoy. What I feel is women are made guilty. 3 laws I would say: no constitution, no IPC, and no CRPC. Wow. If for town and village, I would for women there I would suggest that. But why not? No contracts. You can be a commercial lawyer. You can be any lawyer. So that's the thing. You should just know your rights. So know everything. Just don't pick and choose on 3 laws. But to people, like not lawyers, but women in, like, women who are who do not have an access to legal legal means, I would suggest to have seminars on, like, knowing constitution, IPC, CRPC, etc., so that they would know their rights, and they're not getting harassed. Because I actually had some case in Bihar, where a woman was literally was a, like, a middle way woman who could, like, who was used to defraud someone else, like because that woman, of course, did not know what to do. So those things, so that these things do not happen and nobody cons you, I think knowing certain law is beneficial. And knowing these, and having these small conferences in, like, the areas where, like, people don't know their rights, I think it would be much better. But for all kids out there who are in 12th grade, and all the kids out there in law school, I would suggest, no, all laws, all are in their own way very, very empowering. They make you they are empowering is the word I would use. Yes. So know all kinds of laws.
Thanks for your time, and it's just the beginning of this GoTezu chat room, ma'am. Eventually ऐसे ही हम लोग women's rights के ऊपर या other civil aspect पे arbitrations के अपने live sessions भी organize करते रहेंगे, and it will be a privilege to be getting knowledge and getting imparted the knowledge from you.
It is my privilege. It is also my privilege to be talking to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. And so we will be concluding this session of our conversation with the ma'am, and we will be having such continuous conversation on various topics of law and the field of corporate laws. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Vatsaly. Thank you.